Okay. Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Tobias from Marvin Cameras, and I am here with Dominic DiCarlo, and he has been so nice to uh, come and have me interview him, especially for the Hour of Code. So, Dominic, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Yep, it's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so Dominic DiCarlo is a student just like you, but he's I'm sorry, not high school, in the university. And can you tell me where you go to school, Dominic?
Yeah, so I'm a computer science student at the University of Chicago.
Okay. And then you are majoring in, you said, a computer science.
Computer science, right? So like I've done a lot of programming, and we kind of learn like a lot of the math and some of the other things behind programming and how computers work. And we use that to create really cool software applications like websites, video games, phone applications, all sorts of things that people love to use every day.
Awesome. That's awesome. And then can you just tell me a little bit about your background and what you do and your interests as a person?
Sure. So yeah, I kind of came into programming, computer science. I wasn't something I was always interested in, and I didn't really take any programming classes until I got to college. I didn't write a single write a single line of code in my life until my first computer science class. So I think it's great that students are getting this opportunity to participate in activities like Hour of Code, at this K-8 level. Um, so I liked using computers. I liked playing video games on the computer as a kid, and computers were kind of a big part of my life. So when it got time to getting into a programming class, and I got to see uh, that coding was something that was a lot more accessible than I thought before. I guess I used to think that coding was something where you had to be a genius to do it, and it would be like super complicated and be so hard to get started. But I think it's really easy to get started, and I think as long as you want to learn and you're curious, and you come into it with the right mindset, you anyone can really get started with coding and learn how to make something cool, or create something they really enjoy. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started with it. And now that I'm getting my degree, and now that I've had a lot more experience with programming, I'm trying to seek jobs in either the science and engineering fields. So I really like science and really like advancing science forward. But I'm also really interested in like video game creation using coding as well. I've applied to companies like Roblox. I know a lot of you guys might have heard of Roblox and might be using Roblox. And yeah, so if coding's something you like, there's all those really cool pathways available to you, if that's like something that you want to pursue as a career.
That's interesting that you said that you didn't start coding until you were in college, which is
Right.
which now, boys and girls, that means that you have an opportunity. You're learning it now versus waiting to the for the at the university level. So that's awesome that you how did you just take a coding class in college?
Yeah, so the class I took in college was one where, they accepted students with varying levels of background in coding. Some people had coded before in high school, or in some other time, but other people like myself didn't. And so, maybe when the class started, those other people had some advantage, but it was still accessible enough for me to learn, to go from not having any coding background to completing this course and still coming out, with new knowledge of how to program, and new curiosity for like what else I could learn with this and what else I could do with it.
That's great. And then you mentioned that you are going to graduate soon. And so what's the next thing after you graduate? Where are you going? Where are you working at?
Yeah, so I actually this past summer I interned for a company called MathWorks, and they make a programming language, which is like a programming tool for both scientists and engineers, like scientists at NASA, scientists at Fermi Lab, all sorts of different scientists, engineers making all sorts of cool things, like engineers at Samsung, engineers at a lot of really cool technology companies. This company makes programming tools for those people to then create other really cool things. So I interned at that company, and I was lucky enough to receive a job offer from them. So I'm really happy with my degree because now I've got this great job offer for me, where I'm doing really exciting work, and it's great pay. So it's a solid career opportunity. And I think if you're thinking about pursuing coding, and even further down the line, and like for a job or for a career, it's a really good field to go into at this point. So I've found success in it, and I'm very happy with that.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. So then one of the things is, what advice, looking back, what advice would you uh, give our students or a younger Dominic in eighth grade or in elementary school?
Sure. So I think don't be afraid to struggle. When I was younger, I felt like I had a lot of bad ideas where I thought like if you didn't get something right away, maybe you weren't cut out for it, or maybe you just weren't smart enough, and that to do well in classes, you just got to be smart. But I think there are certain things where being smart helps, but there are other things where no matter how smart you are, you're probably gonna have to struggle with it, and you're probably gonna have to learn with it. So like don't be afraid to struggle. Don't be afraid to ask teachers for help, and to seek out help, because that's what teachers are there for, and that's what school is for. It's not for you to pass all the tests right away. It's for you to learn as much as possible, and learning is going to involve failure. It's going to involve not knowing things right away. So if you ever feel like something's really hard and you can't get it right away, don't give up. You're gonna If you keep at it, you're gonna be that much happier when you finally learn that thing or finally figure something out. So that's very important. And I've had to go through a lot of that in all my learning, and I've still come out ahead. So you know you can do it too.
That's awesome. That's great advice. So please listen to his advice, boys and girls. I really believe in that advice. So then why why did you pick coding? Why is coding interesting to you? Why do you think coding is important to you and to actually us in
Sure.
society?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I almost feel like the answer ends up being the same to both questions. It's important to me in the same way that it's important to society. But I guess first is that it's part of it is that it's just fun. It's fun to for me to like work on a problem and finally get that result and the satisfaction of getting a good solution. It's fun to have an idea for a game that I want to put on a website, and then to go ahead and create that game, and play that game, and see other people play that game, and see how they enjoy it. That's a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's very easy to see how coding is very important if you really take a good look around, because technology is really this huge rising thing in all of our lives. Like you all growing up are being exposed to maybe 10 times the amount of technology that I had when I was going through middle school, when I was going through elementary school. So all that technology is powered by coding. Your smartphone, your TV, your computers, everything you're using. There's programming that goes into it. There's coding that goes into it to make those technologies work. So I think it's a really important thing to be studying, and a really important thing to try to get some understanding of, even if you're not going to go into it as a career. Even just trying to get like realizing that knowing how a computer works, knowing how these things work, is something that everyone could understand, at least on some level.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your answer. And then I also appreciate you coming and talking to us. And congratulations on your almost graduation and your new job offer. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. All right, boys and girls, thank you very much for joining us today as well. So we appreciate it. And I am going to stop the recording.